Hey everyone, today we're diving into something most golfers take for granted the golf ball. It might look like a simple white sphere, but in reality, it's a product of decades of aerodynamics research, material science, and physics. Let's break down the structure, materials, spin dynamics, and flight physics of the golf ball and see why it's one of the most technologically advanced objects in sports. Part 1, the structure. It's not just a solid ball. Let's start with what's inside. Modern golf balls typically come in two-piece, three-piece, or even four-piece constructions. The cover is usually made of urethane, soft, high spin, preferred by pros, or ionomer, harder, more durable, better for beginners. And then the golf ball has some mantle layers found in 3+ piece balls. These layers help control spin and energy transfer. And in the middle of the ball, there's the core, which is a rubbery center that stores and releases energy, the main driver of the ball speed. One important metric here is compression rating, which tells us how hard or soft a ball is. A low compression, which is less than 70, it's great for players with slower swing speeds, and a high compression greater than 90 is better for players with faster swings who can compress the ball more. So the key takeaway would be that the inside of the ball affects feel, distance, and spin and should match your swing speed. And you might have wondered sometime in the past, why are there dimples on the golf ball? Let's talk about those little indentations on the ball. They're called dimples. They're not just for looks. Dimples drastically change how the ball interacts with the air. They create a turbulent boundary layer that sticks closer to the ball's surface, reduces the wake, low pressure area behind the ball, and significantly reduces aerodynamic drag. Without dimples, a golf ball would fly half as far. Fun fact, most balls have between 300 to 500 dimples, and their shape, depth, and pattern affect flight, consistency, lift, and stability. So dimples increase lift, reduce drag, and keep the ball flying long and straight. Now, I want to talk about the spin, the lift, and the Magnus effect. When you hit the ball, especially with a driver or an iron, you generate backspin. Backspin creates lift through something called the Magnus effect. The spinning ball manipulates airflow, creating pressure differences that push the ball upwards. The equation for lift force is 1/2 times the air density times the velocity of the ball squared times the cross-sectional area and the times the lift coefficient, which depends on the spin rate. So more backspin means more lift, means higher and longer flight. And too much spin would create a ballooning and short carry, and too little spin would lead to low trajectory, less control on the landing. So good balls generate optimal spin depending on the club you're using, helping you hit it high when needed and stick it close on the green. Next part, I want to talk about the drag, stability, and flight path. In flight, the ball faces aerodynamic drag, a force that slows it down. The faster the ball moves, the more drag it experiences. That's why dimple design is so important. A well-designed dimple pattern reduces the drag. It also keeps the ball spin axis stable, so it doesn't wobble mid-air. This gives you a straighter, more reliable ball flight, especially in windy conditions. That's why premium balls behave more predictably. They've been tested in wind tunnels and modeled in CFD simulations. Next part, I want to talk about different balls for different players. If you're a beginner or slower swinger, choose a lower compression, harder cover ball like Callaway Super Soft or Strixon Soft Feel. It's easier to compress them, and it would give you more distance with less effort. However, if you're an advanced player looking for control, you should probably go for a multi-layer, urethane covered, higher spin ball like Titleist Pro V1 or Bridgestone Tour B. It gives you more spin, more greenside control, and better workability. So golf balls are a fusion of science and engineering. It's made with precision molding, rubber chemistry, and heat treatments. It's tested with robotic swing arms, wind tunnels, and high speed cameras. Top brands even use 3D laser scanners to ensure every single dimple is placed with micron level precision. It's no exaggeration, a modern tour golf ball is more engineered than some aerospace components. Next time you tee up, remember that tiny white ball isn't simple. It's a product of complex fluid dynamics, carefully selected materials, and engineered aerodynamics and decades of research, design, and testing. In golf, power is great, but science is the real edge. If you enjoy this breakdown of golf ball science, like, follow, and let me know in the comments. Do you want to dive into the club face physics, shaft flex, or maybe driver versus the iron aerodynamics next? Please leave a comment below.